everybody, my name is Charlotte Stradley and I'm very excited you guys are able to join me today. I'm just gonna adjust this so you can see me better. Is that good? Yep, awesome. All right, so today I'm gonna be presenting on the women's suffrage movement, also known as the women's rights movement by different sources. So first off, my name is Charlotte Stradley and this is an informative speech. I'm gonna be going through a timeline of these events so that you are able to understand and fully grasp the situation that happened, what led up to it, and what the movement happened after. All right, so who am I and why am I a servant speaker to you guys today? Like I said previously, my name is Charlotte Stradley and I'm a junior at Grand Canyon University. And I'm qualified to bring you guys this information because I'm passionate about equality. I've been studying equality for many years and I even have a blog on women's rights. And so it's something that I have a passion for learning, understanding, and I feel like I'm capable of bringing you this information. So true or false, what do you guys think? It took women 50 years to earn the right to vote. What do you think?
I think false.
Probably false.
Definitely more.
I think false too.
Yeah, you're correct. It actually took activists and reformers nearly 100 years to earn that right, which is an absurd number. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this topic. So just an introduction to women's rights in this movement. So the rights have significantly increased since the 1900s, providing the female gender with the ability to go to school, work, vote, and even wear pants in professional settings. And in the courthouse, I don't know if you knew this, but less than 50 years ago, women were not allowed to wear pants in a courthouse or any law setting. And this narrative speech that I'm going to be giving you guys is going to go into the events that led up to the movement and during the movement, as well as some informative people that helped shape the movement and the events that happened after. So some of the actions that led up to the movement is the introduction of the Seneca Falls Convention, and this took place in New York in about 1848. What led up to this, though, was women were so tired of seeing their partners, their husbands, being able to vote and being able to achieve things in life, such as owning property, and they were not able to. So they started this movement led by Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton in order to be able to achieve these rights. So this is an image of what the Seneca Falls Convention looks like, and was only women in this courtroom. All these women gathered here today. It was only women that were making the big decisions. So here's a list of the ladies that attended and the gentlemen. As you can see, there was significantly more women that attended, which is a huge, huge factor in this convention. Up to this point, nothing like this was seen or heard of. So this is a very important piece of literature, this document right here with the names. And this is a little station right here where people were asking men to vote for women's rights. And Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton are two of the most influential women in the women's rights era and in this demographic. So both of them lived about the same ages. They lived to almost 90 years old each, which is amazing. And Susan B. Anthony, not only was her voice founded in women's rights, but she also was a huge activist against racism, which I feel like is super important to point out. So she was one of the top leaders in the Equal Rights Association, and she also founded the National Women's Suffrage Association with Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Elizabeth, she wrote the Declaration for Sentiments for the Seneca Falls Convention and organized the women's suffrage movement. So during the movement, one of the biggest things that happened was the 14th Amendment was actually ratified in 1870, extending the Constitution's protection to all citizens, including Black men. So prior to this, the amendment was not allowing any men of color or any race besides white to vote. And when this happened, it almost created like a leeway for women to be like, whoa, now that Black men can vote, now that Native American men can vote, and Asian men, now we should be able to get the right to vote too. So encouraged women to fight for their right. And the women actually allied with racist Southerners who argued that white women's rights could be used to neutralize those cast by African Americans. This is a really unfortunate fact, but it's a fact in history that shows how desperate women were to get the right to vote. And the two groups merged to form the National American Women's Suffrage Association. So this is just a timeline, as you can see, just depicting all of the events, as I said forward. So the Amendment for Women's Suffrage was introduced, and the Seneca Falls Convention, and such as the Snyder Act granting Native American citizens the right to vote, which happened way later. So what changed because of this movement? So the Women's Party proposed the amendment, which was basically on the discrimination of sex. There is no such thing. So all women were finally allowed to vote in 1923. Current day laws such as the Voting Rights Act and Equal Rights Amendment have been installed, and they've never been ratified. They have always been stayed in place, which is wonderful. There's still issues. Obviously, equal pay is one thing that has been a big debate and hot topic. However, we've come really far from the start of this, so it's wonderful to see. And women of all races can vote as well. In conclusion, this narrative speech has been able to effectively inform you on all the events that led up to the movement, the leaders and actions that led to change, the timeline, as well as the effects of this movement on the modern day woman. And we have come so far, however, we still have a little bit to go. In conclusion, here's some references. I have 6 references total. Thank you very much. You don't have to clap.